US Open champion Wyndham Clark banned from Oakmont after locker room rage. When a rising golf star's temper boils over, the fallout can reverberate far beyond the greens, and that's exactly what happened with Wyndham Clark. The 2023 US Open champion has found himself in hot water after being banned by the iconic Oakmont Country Club for damaging lockers during an outburst earlier this year. This decision marks a rare and striking move against a player of Clark's stature, making it one of the most talked about incidents in recent golf history. But here's where it gets controversial: should such actions carry consequences this severe, or is there room to forgive and rehabilitate? The incident occurred during the staging of the US Open last month at Oakmont, a club known for its exclusivity and prestige. Photographs surfaced showing the aftermath of Clark's locker room tantrum, offering undeniable proof of the destruction he caused. While the images sparked immediate backlash, this wasn't Clark's first brush with controversy. Back in May, during the US PGA Championship, he made headlines for throwing his driver at a sign in another emotional meltdown. These repeated episodes have raised questions about his ability to manage stress and frustration on the course, a trait many fans expect from top-tier athletes. In response to the incident, Oakmont has taken a firm stance. According to a letter sent to members by club president John Lynch, obtained exclusively by Golf Digest, Clark will no longer be permitted on the club's property unless certain conditions are met. Reinstatement hinges on several strict requirements: full repayment for the damaged lockers, a charitable contribution chosen by the club's board, and most notably, completing anger management counseling or therapy sessions. This decision ensures accountability while also providing a path forward, Lynch stated in the letter. However, some might argue whether these measures go too far, or not far enough. Clark, now 31 years old and representing the United States in the most recent Ryder Cup, has publicly acknowledged his misstep. When questioned about the incident, he expressed remorse but emphasized his desire to move past it. "I've experienced incredible highs and crushing lows throughout my career, especially this year," Clark said. "What happened was a mistake, and I deeply regret it. My apologies go out to everyone involved, Oakmont, the USGA, United States Golf Association, and all those affected. Moving forward, I want to focus on the positives and continue growing both personally and professionally." Despite his apology, Oakmont remains resolute in its decision, signaling that they view this as more than just a minor infraction. After all, the club isn't just protecting its reputation, it's setting an example for how disruptive behavior will be handled moving forward. And this is the part most people miss: the implications of this ruling could extend well beyond Clark himself, influencing how future incidents involving high-profile players are addressed. For context, Clark's victory at the 2023 US Open was nothing short of remarkable. He edged out golfing legend Rory McIlroy in a nail-biting finish at Los Angeles Country Club, solidifying his place among the sport's elite. Yet, his performance in majors this year hasn't quite matched the triumph. He tied for 46th at the Masters, leaving fans eager to see if he can regain his winning form. As the US Open prepares to return to Oakmont in 2033, Clark's absence looms large, creating a compelling subplot for future tournaments. This week, Clark tees off once again alongside Corey Connors and Tom Hoge, starting Thursday at 10:20 a.m. His journey ahead promises intrigue, not only in terms of his game but also in how he navigates the challenges posed by this ban. Can he rise above adversity and prove critics wrong, or will this incident define his legacy in ways he never anticipated? So, what do you think? Should Oakmont's punishment serve as a model for other clubs, or does it risk alienating talented players who may simply need guidance? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Golfer Wyndham Clark apologizes for locker damage at Oakmont. Professional golfer Wyndham Clark is confronting career-altering consequences after an emotional outburst at one of golf's most hallowed venues, a stark reminder that even elite athletes face human struggles under pressure. But here's where it gets controversial: should a single moment of frustration overshadow years of professional achievement? During the US Open at Oakmont Country Club, a legendary course hosting golf's toughest championship for over a century, Clark damaged a locker in an incident he now profoundly regrets. Media weren't permitted in the locker room, yet a leaked photograph circulated online, compounding the situation. Clark confessed, "I feel terrible about what happened. I'm doing everything possible to make things right," following his impressive final round 65 at the British Open where he tied for fourth. This incident caps a turbulent year for the 2023 US Open champion. Earlier, at the PGA Championship, Clark threw a club after a poor shot, damaging signage and nearly striking a volunteer, a pattern of behavior he attributes to mounting frustrations. Having a tough season with all the expectations, everything boiled over, Clark admitted. "I did 2 stupid things. But they've jolted me back to who I truly am." Here's the critical twist: Oakmont's management banned Clark until he fulfills 3 strict conditions: paying for damages, donating to a charity of their choice, and completing anger management counseling. Clark readily agreed, stating, "Paying damages is obvious. I also want to give back to Pittsburgh's community because I hurt a special place." Yet the ultimate question remains unanswered: will this historic club welcome him back when the US Open returns in 2033? Clark's entry that year depends on his tournament exemption as past champion, but Oakmont holds veto power. "I hope they find it in their hearts to forgive me," Clark said vulnerably. "It's up to them." Now, let's spark the debate: is golf's tradition of upholding decorum rightly penalizing human emotion, or do historic clubs like Oakmont have a duty to enforce strict behavioral standards regardless of player status? Does Clark's genuine remorse and voluntary commitment to improvement merit leniency? Share your perspective below. Should sports institutions prioritize forgiveness or principle in these high-stakes situations? Wyndham Clark banned from Oakmont. His apology and the conditions for his return. A stunning turn of events has left a US Open champion barred from his own stage, and the fallout is anything but simple. Wyndham Clark hopes to tee off again at fabled Oakmont Country Club, but the final say rests entirely with the venerable Pittsburgh club after he accidentally destroyed part of his locker during this year's US Open. But here's where it gets controversial: Oakmont didn't just scold him behind closed doors. They issued a formal ban, communicated in a letter to members, detailing what he must do to earn readmission. Clark, fresh off shooting a 6-under par 65 to finish tied for fourth at the Open, told reporters he's open to any requirement Oakmont sets. "That's up to them," he said. "I hope they'll let me play again. It's a fantastic course, but I realize I did something awful and I'm genuinely sorry. I hope they can forgive me, and maybe one day I'll step back on those fairways." Club President John Lynch and the U.S. Golf Association met with the board before deciding to restrict Clark's access. Oakmont, one of America's most challenging and historic courses, is already slated to host the US Open in 2033. That would coincide with the final year of Clark's 10-year exemption earned by winning the 2023 US Open at Los Angeles Country Club. And this is the part most people miss: even with a guaranteed exemption, his entry isn't assured until he fulfills several conditions. According to the letter, Clark must cover repair costs for his damaged locker, make a meaningful donation to a charity chosen by the club's board, and participate in counseling or anger management sessions. Paying for damages was a no-brainer, Clark said. "I owe them that. Beyond that, I want to give back to the community. I hurt a great place in Pittsburgh, and I want to show who I really am, not just my mistakes." Oakmont Country Club, with its lightning-fast greens and deep bunkers, is considered a rite of passage for elite golfers. It's where legends have battled swirling winds and punishing rough. Missing out on playing there not only affects Clark's schedule but also denies him the chance to test himself against this storied backdrop. For many pros, Oakmont is as much a milestone as any major championship. Clark admitted surprise that the punishment was made public. "We were hoping it would stay private." He pointed out this season isn't the first time his temper has flared. In May, at the PGA Championship, he threw his driver in frustration and ended up damaging a sign tied to one of his sponsors. This broader conversation touches on athlete conduct.